What's up, guys? How you all doing? So it is Sunday and it's somewhere in the region of about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I am absolutely exhausted. And I've got to tell you, when it comes to cars and test driving cars and thinking about cars, specs of cars, prices of cars, all of that stuff, I have had enough. Absolutely had enough. Not only have I been looking at cars and trikes for my dad, I've been looking at a car for myself, been looking at a car for Jade, and I've got to tell you, I've just about had enough of anything to do with cars. So today we went over to the Nissan garage near Bromley. They had 2 staff on in a huge garage and therefore couldn't take people out on test drives, which just seems absolutely insane to me. So I'm going to wait for the person that I know to come back, and then I'll take Jade over there for a test drive then. It's sort of coming down to a Vauxhall Adam or a Nissan Juke or a Nissan Micra, the higher spec Nissan Micra, which doesn't sound like the greatest car, but actually when you look at the spec on it, it's actually got a fantastic spec for a very good price, very fuel efficient, actually quite spacey as well inside, and drives very, very nicely. So probably going to come down to one of them cars for Jade, but you know, we compared loads of different cars today, specs, prices, all that stuff. So I'm just going to leave it alone for a little while now, maybe a week or so, and just sort of let it all gather in my mind, and then maybe make a choice on Jade's car. When it comes to my car, I've kind of had enough just thinking about it. I know it's first world problems and it's a nice problem to have, but I need to narrow it down a little bit more. And normally I just sort of see a car that I really like and I think, oh, I'm just going to have that one. That's the one that I want. And that's normally the way it works. But this time round, I've got loads of stuff flying around in my head, and it's not a particularly enjoyable experience. I'd rather just sort of know what I want, go out and get it. Having to choose is just not my sort of thing. So I'm going to let that go for a little while, and then sooner or later you will just see me come on here and say, I've got a new car. And that will be it, and I'll show you around and I'll do a review of the car. I kind of ruled out the Nissan GTR today. It's not for me. Yeah, it's very, very fast, but for me it lacks any kind of refinement, class, luxury. The interior is really quite unspectacular. It's not very nice at all. It's not particularly comfortable. The back seats are tiny, and it's just not a sort of, it's not my kind of car. So that's ruled out, and I think if I was going to go for a car like that, I'd much rather have a Porsche 911 again. So I just don't think I'm going to go down the Nissan route for me personally. But at the same time, I'm not thinking about cars for myself now. I've been dealing with cars for my mum and dad, cars for Jade, cars for me, and I'm all carred out. So that is it. So let's talk about something that I like to talk about, which I find much more interesting. Let's talk about this new USB hub. A lot of you will think I'm crazy. But obviously with the new Mac Pro that I'm going to be getting eventually when Apple pull their shit together and send it to me, still no update by the way, guys. It will be the first desktop computer, the first Apple desktop computer that I've ever had with USB 3, believe it or not. I know how sad that sounds. Obviously I've had PCs and stuff with USB 3, but and my notebooks, my Apple notebooks, but the Mac Pro has never had USB 3. So I'm going to be having USB 3, so obviously needed a USB 3 hub to go along with that. So I looked on Amazon and I found this one, and it's a TechNet, I'll show you, TechNet USB 3 7+2 port hub, and I think it's actually really bloody nice. It came in extremely nice packaging. It's got the 7 ports along there. Is that 7? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 7. And it's also got these 2 like charging ports here on the top, and I presume that they are actually 2 amp 2.1 amp charging ports, which is actually a nice thing. It's even got an on-off switch here, and it's not an easily one that you're going to sort of flick accidentally, because it's got a little spring in it. Listen. Yeah, so it sort of pushes down, pushes up, and that is it. But look at the size of the power brick. Can you believe that? That's just phenomenal. So that is the power brick. That is my new USB port thing that I'm going to have underneath the desk, that is going to kind of take care of a lot of my USB devices. I think I have to get another one as well, but I wanted to see how sort of good this is first. And that is going to be my new USB 3 hub for underneath my desk. Another little thing I got as well, I know this is all very, very geeky, is I got this. And this is a little adapter for your iPhone, or it probably works with any cell phone. And basically it splits the 4 different areas here into microphone and headphones. So if I hold this up here, you might just be able to see it. Let me see if I can get it to focus. I don't know if it's going to do it, but there are, you can sort of see it. There's like little prints on the connectors here, and one is for headphones and one is for microphone. So when you're making films, not films, but when you're taking video with your iPhone, you can use this to have a separate microphone input, which is actually really good, because I've made a couple of videos with the iPhone 5 when I've been videoing my actual camera, hence the reason I've had to use this. And the only thing that really lacks is the audio, because you haven't got a dedicated audio. So as you move around and away and sort of closer and further away from the camera, from the phone, the audio gets louder and quieter. So this little gadget here is awesome, because it's going to give you the ability to have a dedicated audio input and probably monitor as well, for monitoring and recording audio into a cell phone, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So for dismiss battery. So for all those people that are saying, you know, I can't start making videos because I haven't got a camera, well, the iPhone 5S or the 5 or the iPod Touch 5 or, you know, the HTC One or the Galaxy Note 3 or whatever it might be, even the Moto G, or the Nexus 5, you can take awesome video with that. If you put it on a tripod and you make sure you've got loads of light, and you use something like this with a little cheap Lavalier microphone, you can get some great video and audio quality out of kit that you've already got. So I think that is pretty neat. It was literally like a couple of pounds off of Amazon. I'll leave a link to both of these products down in the video description. And also the other day, I remember I made that video on my audio equipment, and I've got this Focusrite box here, which is my preamp for my microphone with the XLR inputs and the 1/4" jack inputs, and it is phenomenal. The sound quality from those preamps is absolutely out of this world. So very, very pleased with that. Really interested in trying out my USB hub. Had enough of cars. Had enough of motorbikes, the whole thing. I'm not thinking about it anymore. All I want to think about now is my Mac Pro. If my Mac Pro came this week, I'd be so happy, because I could just forget about all of this other crap and just concentrate on my geeky stuff, which I prefer. And one thing that I have got to do, and I've mentioned this in a video before, you guys know, but underneath my desk there is a panel, like I forget the word for it now, like a privacy panel. There is a word for that, though. It's a modesty panel. That's it, a modesty panel. It doesn't relate here because no one can see the other side. But anyway, that was the whole point of this conversation. So I pulled down the panel, and behind there are all my cables. Okay. Now, when I first put this together, because I was in a rush to see if it all worked and stuff while the engineers were here putting the desk in, I just threw it in. I literally just threw all of this stuff in. There's cables everywhere. There's power bricks everywhere. I have no idea what does what. It is a complete mess under there. And before I get my Mac Pro, I've got to pull every bit of it out and put it all back in again. Put my new USB hub in. Put all of the power bricks, you know, with, not power bricks, power cables, you know, the extenders where you get 4 or 5 slots on them. Drill all of them onto like the wood and stuff, so they're all nice and neat. All of that I've got to do before the Mac Pro arrives. Otherwise, when it comes, I'm going to just take this one out, plug the new one in, and I'm going to carry the mess forward, which I don't want to do. So I'm tempted to do it tonight, but I am just so not wanting to do it. You know, that one of those things that you just literally do not want to do because it is just such a shit job. It's a shit job. Pulling all of that out and putting it all back in again is just an absolute nightmare. Getting everything working again is just a disaster. It would be a bit like taking your home built PC apart, taking it out of the PC cabinet that you've got it in and putting it all in another case, and doing it all really neatly and putting it all back and all that. It's a bit kind of like that, but worse, because under there is literally about 1,000 wires. No shit. So that is me. I'm very tempted to do that tonight, but then I'm kind of sitting here and I'm looking, I've got a new episode of Banshee. There's a couple of new series that's come out, Helix and Bitten, and I'm kind of thinking, oh, I could just sit here, relax for a couple of hours and watch that, or I could pull my shit together and tidy up under the desk. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. In the comments, tell me what I should do, right? And I'll give it like a couple of hours after I put this video up, and then I'll make my decision. Not a couple of hours, I'll give it like an hour and a half till, say, about 6 o'clock, and then I'll decide exactly what I'm going to do. So, should I, 1, pull everything out from underneath the desk, unconnect all the cables, all of that kind of stuff, take it all out, put it all back in really nice and tidy, or should I chill out, watch some TV and pull a mañana, which is the Spanish word for basically, fuck it, I'll do it tomorrow. You guys let me know in the comments. Hope you've had a great weekend. Be cool, be safe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.